be repaying the bank loan. So that's why the interest during the construction till its completion, the interest that they are paying, that would be added into the cost of the building. And now equipment. So of course, if you are purchasing, for example, laptop or computers or fixtures or furnitures, so you are not purchasing one chair or one table for the office, for your office. You are purchasing maybe hundreds and thousands of like laptops, computers, and fixtures, ACs. So in that stuff, purchase price less any discount, transportation charges, delivery charges, if you are paying, right? Insurance, while the goods are in transit, if some AC is damaged or some LCD is damaged or some furniture is damaged, then that will be returned, or the cost will be compensated by the insurance. Or if you are paying insurance, that would be added to the cost of those equipment or equipment or furnitures or fixtures. Commission that you paid to the agents and installation costs. So, and then the expenditures to test the assets before it's placed in service. So sometimes you ordered big plants, for example, Tesla, imported the big plant who can mold the Tesla car, car shapes and all those stuff. So that plant, they order it. So the plant is coming, and then they pay freight charges, taxes, and delivery charges, and the plant has arrived on the site. And then they call those companies, for example, German companies who make that plant. So their engineers, they came and they try to install that plant. So now the production has started. No, they test. For example, they test. Okay, the agreement was that before hand over the plants, the company will help you to make 10 or maybe 20 Tesla, cars, so that we make sure that the plant is running smoothly. So the cost of those 10 Tesla cars that they mold, and they spend some time and they spend some materials, that is also added to the cost of the plant or cost of the equipment. Similarly, though the ACs, if you ask ACs for your company and the workers are installing those AC and then trying to test that. So on, like, in 1 week they install the AC, and the next 2 or 3 days they are testing, okay, whether this AC is working properly or not, the heating or the heating and cooling systems are working properly or not. So all those expenditures would be added to the cost of the equipment, plant, or machinery. The last one is the cost of any special platforms. What if we said that, okay, every AC, every 3 employees would be having one AC, and in CEO's office there would be like one customized, very specialized kind of AC which looks very nice, trendy, fashionable. So it's a special request. So that request would be also added to the cost of the ACs or equipment, right? Okay. Now, what are the land improvements and leasehold improvements? So cost of land improvement. So like I told you, we make a driveways, we install signs, fences, sprinkler systems. So all of these costs are subject to decay or decrease in the value, or their value started to obsolete or decrease. So they should be depreciated, right? So this is called cost of land improvement. So all these cost of land improvements, they are a part of when you own the land. You have the ownership of the land. You purchase the land, you build fencing wall, or you build driveways and all those stuff. But what if you lease the land? So you lease the land, it's a simple straight patch of land, and then you build a fence around that. You put signs. So in that case, only the name changes. So cost of land improvement, we don't use the word cost of land improvement. We use the word leasehold improvement because we don't own the piece of land. We just own the lease, or we just own a time period to use that land, and we spend some money to make that land useful for us according to our own way for 5 years. Just name changes, and that is leasehold improvement. So these include improvement to the lease property, like you install signs, sprinkler system, driveways. So it should be depreciated over time, like the cost of improvements that they depreciate. So then why we it is the same, then why we are using two different names? It just shows that how much we own and how much we are using that. Because if we uh, take the land on lease, then that wouldn't be added to our balance sheet, right? In balance sheet, we write land as a fixed asset, but if we lease that one, then it is not shown on our balance sheet, right? So that's why if you are using this property, improvement stuff, so that would be added to the balance sheet because it's used for more than 1 year. Since if we are talking about the corporate, so we are learning about this in accounting with the perspective of corporation. So corporations are not small, not individual, or not we are having a small business like partnership. It's a huge millions of dollars involved. So in that case, you need to be very fair, and you need to see that whether the items on balance sheet are justified, because bigger the value of the balance sheet means bigger the worth of the business, right? Similarly, you need to see that if the land doesn't belong to you and you are writing the land value on the balance sheet, it means you are manipulating the balance sheet to, or you are cooking the books, you are window dressing to make the balance sheet looks good. And if you found caught of using these kind of stuff, that would be a fraudulent activity, right?
Teacher,
Yeah.
you consider this a fraudulent activity when you, like, for example, write something which is wrong, but you have no receipt. If you say this, you must provide the receipt, right? The
Yes.
receipt.
Yes. You must, if everything is backed by receipts and it's legal, then nobody can deny that one. But if you showed that this is a lease, and lease, you don't own the business, don't own the land, it's a leased one, right? You are just paying the rent. Like, we don't own an apartment, but we are living in
The rent,
Shanghai,
that's liability. Yeah.
right? So we cannot say that this is our own house, this is a rented one. We cannot show that this is our property, our balance sheet has increased. No, right? So similarly with the businesses, so that's why we differentiate with the names. The treatment are the same, but the name, they are different one. Now let's just talk about, okay, sorry. Now, lump sum or basket purchase of the assets. So sometimes assets are purchased, we are purchasing the asset in bulk. So we are not just purchase first land and then we construct the building on it, and then we install driveway and land improvements, and then we purchase ACs, fixtures, computers, machinery and all the stuff. Sometimes you acquire the building which is equipped with equipments, fixtures and all the stuff, right? It happens, yes. You purchase a building includes the land and also the fixtures. It is the building include the lift system, the offices have the furniture, computers, and everything. And so that kind of purchase is called lump sum or basket purchase. So then, how we know the value of the building, how we know the value of the land, how we know the value of the ACs, the furnitures. So we will find the value through relative sale value method or RSV method, right? So in order to understand that, we have an illustration here. For example, suppose FedEx So FedEx purchases land and building in Denver. The building sits on the 2 acre of land, and the combined purchase price of the land and building 2.8 million. An appraisal indicates that the land market value is 300,000 and the building value is 2.7 million. So if they purchase land and construct the building on the top of that, land would cost them 300,000 and the building would cost them 2.7 million. So together 3 million. But they purchase combined 280,000. So now how much we charge to the value of land and how much we charge to the value of building, right? So we use a relative sale value method. The simple name is that pro rata basis. So we know that if we purchase separately, it is 3 million. So what is the portion of the land in 3 million? So 300,000 divided by 3 million. 2.7 million divided by 3 million. Answer is 10% and 90%. So we purchase 2.8 million. So among this 2.8 million, 90% belongs to the value of building. So here 90% multiplied by the value we paid to acquire the basket, both the land and the building. So that would be 2.52 million. And if you multiply this with 10%, then answer would be 280,000, right? So this is we also call this pro rata basis. If you know the mathematics over there, business mathematics, we call this pro. Let me write it down. Pro rata basis or relative sales value method, right? RSV. Understand? Simple.
Yes.
If we purchase separately, the answer would be, wait a second, who messages? Yeah, pro rata basis. Good. Okay. So we do have the entry. So we purchase the building. Now we know that if we segregate this cost of 2.8 million, so among that 2.8 million, how much belongs to land? 280,000. And how much belongs to the building? That is 2.52 million. So what will be the entry? Asset increase and cash decrease, right? Because we paid cash, right? So what is the entry?